Thank you, Kate. Thank you, John, and thank you for all of you being here this morning. I actually just came across the road from the Obama event, and it was all barricaded, so I'm glad I got here on time. I was worried that they would have some kind of security hold me there. So good afternoon again. My name is Barros. I'm with the Massachusetts Life Sciences Center. As you know, this is the agency charged with stewarding the state's $1 billion 10-year initiative. We are very proud to welcome BioCell to the Life Sciences Supercluster, and it's opening here in Massachusetts. I was at the event yesterday in Medford, and it was quite an event with great media, great presence from all sectors of our life sciences cluster, political side, the academic research, as well as the business side. In Massachusetts, we're very proud, as you know, to be sort of the supercluster that distinguishes itself from the rest of the world. Over just the last month, we had a couple of significant accomplishments here in Massachusetts that really highlights to this. As you know, Dr. Jack Sostek, Mass General, received the Nobel Prize for 2009 for physiology of medicine. We also had Nobel Prize recipients in the Commonwealth in the past, including Craig Mello at the University of Massachusetts and Dr. Osamu Shimuruma over at the Marine Biological Lab in Woods Hole, who was a recipient of the 2008 Nobel Prize in Chemistry. Earlier this year, Massachusetts, the Boston Globe has its annual top 100 companies, and as all of you probably know, Cubis was rated the #1 company, and the state's world-renowned life sciences companies, Cubis was #1, Sepulcor was #6, Parexel was #10, and Biogen IDEC was #7. And this represents the industry side of this sector. And it was really the only sector that had more than one representative in the top 10. It speaks to the growth and the prospects of the sector. And just recently as well, the Japanese pharmaceutical market, which is, all you probably know, is the third largest pharma market in the world. It's $88 billion, according to the latest data from IMS, Europe being #2 at $170 billion, and the US being #1 with about $300 billion pharma market. They continue to make a dent in this market, and we were positive about their approach. They came in here, and as you know, the data fund, Sumitomo acquired Sepulcor, and that also complements the earlier acquisition that was done with Millennium. And that speaks well, because even though Japanese is the third largest market, they feel about the prospects of the research and the collaboration here to locate the operations here. But to maintain this global leadership, it is this type of collaboration and partnerships that we have here with the associations such as the Mass Biotech Council that will continue for us to go forward. As you know, in June 16, 2009, Governor Deval Patrick signed the 1-year anniversary of the signing of the Massachusetts Life Sciences Initiative. And I'm here to share with you some of the progress that we have made. We had a presentation that we did send out to the board. Some of you haven't seen it. And just this past year, over the past year, we have spent about $48 million in funding. Okay, great, thank you. We spent about $48 million in funding. But the important thing about that funding, we're able to match that with private and federal dollars as well as other matching dollars, about $355 million. And also able to create about 1,000 jobs. The good news on that, just recently, we also did our largest investment today. We've ranged an investment. The smallest investment we have made is $10,000. We supported the MIT 100K competition. The winner of that competition was a company called Cambridge Innovations. We also just did our largest investment recently, which was a $90 million investment for the Advanced Therapeutics Cluster over at UMass in Worcester. So we continue to be active. If you combine that over the last 14 to 16 months, we have done about $170 million worth of investments, and all that is leverage, and we continue to get very good prospects on our investments in terms of job growth, so we'll have updated figures there. If you look at our investments, where they were allocated, $15 million went to creating capital projects, and that's part of the initiative is structured in 3 tranches. You have a capital fund, you have a tax incentive fund, you also have a discretionary investment fund that can actually be equity, loans.
We keep striving to perfection with stem cells and other ways.
That's actually off now. Is that on?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just step away a little bit. Maybe it won't be better. If you look at some of the investment we made, about $15 million of that went to capital projects. And this fund is what we call a bio-ready fund. It goes to municipalities. It's part of the state's capital funding plan. We go into the state's bonding dollars. An example of that is the Marine Biological Lab in Woods Hole had a project in the LERP facility to expand it. We were part of a contribution of $25 million along with the Howard Hughes Medical Institute. And also the Framingham town of Framingham was looking for their expansion of the Genzyme facility there, and we contributed to the upgrade of the wastewater facility. So typically that fund is used for the bio-ready infrastructure projects. We have the discretionary fund is used both in grants as well as in loans. And to highlight that, in loans, we typically look at early stage right now. We're looking at companies that are probably before they get the Series A financing, so to speak. So these are companies that at this stage have probably received some kind of a financing. They probably have received probably angel financing, maybe SBIR Phase 1. And we have a program called the Accelerator, which will come in and match those sources up to $500,000. And that fund is used to really help the company get to milestones to get some type of institutional financing. So that fund last year was $3.4 million. We invested in 8 companies, and it ranged from companies in oncology and a small molecule. We also were in the medical device area, a company called Pluramed. And the structure of this is unique. It's a 5-year loan. It's $100,000 to $500,000. It has a 10% interest rate, and it's payable upon financing of $5 million of 5 years, and the interest is accrued at the end, so it's a balloon product. It is not something that amortizes as the program is active. And to give you an idea about our process, on this accelerator program, we received 88 applicants. And they were varied. They were in device and diagnostic was about 46%, 24% were in drug discovery, genomics, high-throughput screening, combinatorial chemistry, and then you had about 14% in various other life science categories, technology and so forth. And the board of directors approved 7 of them out of those 88. And the way that it worked, we have a multi-tier process. So initially, the companies submit their application to the center. It's a 3-part application. We'll do an administrative review. We do have what I call our secret society. We have about 110 peer reviewers across the country. And the qualification was either you had to have commercialization experience in terms of bringing a product to market. You could be a venture capitalist. You can be an entrepreneur or an advisor or a consulting firm. And then the other part was to be a scientist, MD, PhD. And those are done double-blind. That result comes into our scientific advisory board, which is chaired by Harvey Lodish at MIT. And he has sort of a cadre of the who's who of the scientific community on there. We have 4 venture capitalists on there. We also have 2 corporate scientific officers, one from Genzyme, the other one is from Boston Scientific. And that group will actually take a look at those 88 applications. They have full veto power in terms of not agreeing with the peer review. And then those are taken over to our investment committee, which will meet with the companies, the finalists in person to select. So that whole process, even though it sounds it's got multi-tier, we looked at the NIH, we looked at the venture community, we tried to combine something that had a little bit of both. That whole process, we were able to do that in about 5 weeks after the application period. Solicitation went out in January. We closed it at the end of March. By the end of April, we made the awards. And so that is one of our flagship programs. And also on the academic and grant side, we have a program called the Cooperative Research Program. And that program is looking to support and match already sponsored research. About $12.6 million went to that program last year. It was all matched with another $12.6 million. To give you a quick example, University of Lowell was looking at, they had a research agreement with Boston Scientific over 3 years to do a new polymer for their drug-coated stent or drug-eluting stent. And we matched that investment. So instead of the company receiving or the research institution receiving $600,000, now they get $1.2 million total to accelerate the commercialization of that technology. And in addition to that, what we look at in terms of we talked earlier about leverage. And what's important to us is to make sure that we have private and other source of capital to the table with us. And we launched a program last year called the Corporate Consortium. And that program is designed to provide us additional funds for us to invest in our companies. Our inaugural charter member last year was Johnson & Johnson. They co-invested with us amongst the Accelerator portfolio, and they also have a non-voting seat on our investment committee. After we have sort of beta tested this program, we're comfortable now to expand it, and in the next few months we'll make an announcement about additional members, and we're going to be diversified in terms of who participates. We're looking for some pharma participation, biotech, medical device, and tools companies as well. So we will make those announcements in the next months. And another area of focus for us has been the stem cell research. The Center has invested more than $8 million to create the stem cell bank and the International Stem Cell Registry at the University of Massachusetts Medical School. And we are very pleased, of course, that the BioCell Center will be adding